We now have a panel discussion. We're just getting the table ready on investments in publishing. Every time we go to a conference, we hear only investors talk to investors. So this time at IGDC, and then we hear pain points from developers as Q&A, or studios as Q&A, so this during Q&A at least. So this year we decided at all our developer days that we will have an honest conversation between investors, publishers, and developers, and hear all ends of the spectrum. Also use these sessions to give developers an insight into what to do, what not to do. To tell us more, I would like to call upon the panelists, Saikat Mondal from Nazara, Kshitij Jayakrishnan from Elevation Capital, Nidhi Gulati from KRAFTON India, Ajish from Tuttifrutti Interactive, and Imtiaz Hussain from Nazara. YesGnome. Why did I say Nazara? Sorry. Huh?
No, I'm okay. Check. Hello, everyone. Hello, Kerala. How are you guys doing? How was the lunch, by the way? Doesn't look like it was good, but I enjoyed it. So, my name is Imtiaz Hussain. First of all, a big round of applause to our guy Deepak, who did a great presentation, and thank you so much. And how many of you feel that this panel will be replaced by AI bots in like 3 years? Yeah, I mean, this is possibly my last session then. So, all right, guys. My name is Imtiaz Hussain. I'm the co-founder of a studio called YesGnome. I also part of IGDC Council here. I would also like my panelists to introduce themselves. We have a very good combination. We have a developer, a studio head rather co-founder, and then we have an incubator, and then we have a couple of funds. So that way they can introduce themselves. And also, can you guys talk about maybe a Netflix show that you want us to watch as you introduce, and if you would like to introduce us in like 1 minute each.
So myself, Ajish, I have close to 20 years expertise in this gaming industry, specifically in running creative studios and in developing award-winning games. Specifically, I was the creative director of a game called Dakata, a Broken Hearts Quest, which got some 15 international awards, so many national awards. Got selected to Google's Elite library called Play Pass. The sequel got Epic Mega Grand, and right now we are somehow trying to cut into the Sony's pipeline. See, so basically a computer engineer and done my MBA from IIM. That's it.
Any Netflix show that you want us to watch?
No, first of all, I'm not that much a Netflix addict. See,
yeah, okay. I mean, you missed Hiramandir.
See, I watch some movies. Yeah.
Sure. So he's your local boy, guys. So.
Hi guys, I'm Nidhi. I am working with KRAFTON as the program manager for their incubator program. I've been in the industry as a game designer and a producer for about 7 years now, roughly. And now I've moved into mentorship. I am looking at young startups, starting their journey and how we can, essentially help them kickstart their journey into game development, making fun games, making great startups. And today we are here in Kochi to look at such young people and startups coming up with great ideas. And I'm here to connect with all of you. Please catch me here, outside, anywhere, and we can talk more about it. Netflix series. I'm watching anime these days. There's this one called Ron Komonohama Hashi's Forbidden Deductions. Japanese is difficult.
You're getting there, yeah. You're getting there. Nice.
So it's a detective series. I enjoy those kinds.
Kshitij.
Awesome. Hi everyone, I'm Kshitij. I work with Elevation Capital. We are a 670 million fund. We've been investing in India for 2 decades. I've been in the fund for 5.5 years now. Gaming is a sector that I look at. Within gaming, we have invested in multiple companies. Play Simple is one of the biggest investments we had made. And more recently, I work with a couple of casual gaming and mid-core gaming studios that we invested in the last couple of years. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. A Netflix show that I would recommend watching is Ozark, if you haven't watched it yet. You stole. I was thinking someone will say it before me, but must watch.
Hey guys, hi, good evening. I'm Saikat. I'm the Vice President of Mergers and Acquisitions and Investments at Nazara Technologies. Nazara is a publicly traded gaming esports ad tech company in India today. We have some of the popular franchises that you may know. Nordwin is definitely one of them. We operate DreamHack in India. We have Comic Con and a bunch of different IPs, including World Cricket Championship, Kidopia, Animal Jam, and the likes of it. We also invest, but at a later stage, probably. But if you're looking for publishing partnerships, please do reach out. Happy to explore some of those options with you and see how we can leverage and power those creations that you're building. Netflix series, he has already stole mine. So I would go with Demon Slayer, another anime which I really, really love. It's close to my heart, and new series is coming up, so watch out, guys.
Read the books too, so it's great. Great, guys. So before I start off the questions, I would like to understand the audience here. How many of you are a founder or about to raise money, raise a round or start a financial round in a year or so from here? Okay. Anyone who already raised a round? I know a bunch of them, Joveen and few. Okay, great. So we have a mix of audience here. So someone who is already into gaming and about to raise money. But before that, I think we should do more of, we start off with how are the gaming trends in the, how do you guys see that in the next 5 years? Looking at India as a market, and then the other would be like India as an ecosystem, right? In some developer ecosystem. And possibly, we can also cover briefly on the global side of things. 3 pieces. Yeah, you might start.
So, India as a market is a story on two sides. So, one on the development side, one on the consumption side. Let's focus on the consumption side first. On the consumption side, I think we are seeing the early trends of IAP adoption. India is the #1 country globally in 2023 that added more new payers in globally. So India is now a behemoth that the world is waking up to. We have been asleep for quite some time, but I think the consumption market is really, really picking up, and we are quite bullish on India's overall consumption market. From a developer standpoint, every year at IGDC, if you do come, if you don't, please do visit IGDC. It's a great place to network, connect, and see what's happening in the overall Indian game dev ecosystem. But shameless plug for IGDC. Every year we see the indie stands, and that is something that I'm quite excited to look at every single year. And every year the bar has been rising from an overall development capability standpoint. There are a couple of interesting things happening. Sony is investing now quite heavily and significantly to boost the development ecosystem, so shout out to them. Companies like us, we are also investing a lot on the Indian game dev ecosystem. Part of this initiative is also to boost the ecosystem to a certain extent, and partnering with IGDC has always been something that is pushing us towards that endeavor. There are many gaming focused VCs now, guys. I mean, it's unheard of historically. I mean, please go and check out with game veterans, look at their career profiles on LinkedIn, and you will see how flip-floppy their careers have been, because it was just a chaotic environment back in the day. So right now, I think the ecosystem is at a place where people have the money to back your creative endeavors that you are trying to pursue. And then there are another set of investors who are founder themselves getting good exits. Moonfrog, Play Simple, definitely two of the more notable ones, but there are others as well. So these founders, as they start generating money because they understand gaming so well, they would start backing up projects, and it's just not the money, but also the creative inputs that you can essentially derive from it. So I'm quite bullish from a developer standpoint, from an ecosystem standpoint, that it is the right time to build from India, either for India or world. That is up to your choice, but from India for sure.
Yeah, so see, I think agree with a lot of points Saikat made, but globally, it's very evident that gaming is at the center of every cultural revolution almost. Like, it's much like the gaming industry is a lot bigger than music and films combined. We are seeing a lot of, like, now to be a gaming creator or a streamer is like the equivalent of the new superstar. Like people are signing 100 million deals with streaming platforms. Uh, Virtual worlds are where people are hanging out. Virtual concerts are where 25, 30 million people come and attend concerts now. So gaming is where things are, and I think the future is about building games and experiences for people in many of these virtual worlds or enabling that to happen. So that is a trend and theme that we see and are quite excited by. In India, similarly, it's a both talent supply and consumption market, but on the consumption side, almost 50% of internet users in India are gamers. So that's more than 500 million people. That contributes to almost 15-20% of global demand for games. So it is an important market for everyone to focus on India, whether they are Indian studios or global studios. And that means global studios also invest a lot in Indian talent. As I think in the previous panel, someone was saying, a lot of offices at global studios have opened up, which creates a lot of Indian talent in India, as well as Indian success stories obviously compound a lot of that talent over time. So a combination of all of this leads to a lot of success, which is what we are excited about, and always on the lookout for new developers building.
I think to add to your point, right, like we have seen the industry expand. Like, I think one of the biggest companies to come into India from gaming perspective, I think one of them was Zynga, one of them was EA, and then Ubisoft eventually opened up. And then we have seen people coming out of Zynga and opening their own smaller studios, like Play Simple was one of them, Moonfrog was one of them. So eventually now we see the industry in India expanding, the talent expanding, and with COVID-19, I think we saw a lot of boom in the gaming industry. I think gaming industry was the only one doing well during COVID-19, right? Like especially with nobody expected that to happen in India, and that brought a lot of focus for global investors. Okay, wow, India can do that. India has now a paying market. So that has brought in a lot of focus, not only globally, but from governments as well. Right now, you saw Narendra Modi talking to a lot of young folks, influencers about how gaming is happening. We have the AVGC fund coming up in Kerala, and then there are so many other states and central government now starting to focus on gaming as a sector that is investable. So it is actually as an ecosystem, I think we are in the right place, and it is the right time to actually start with your journey as a game developer, because you have now the support and the mentorship that needs that wasn't there before. Like how he mentioned, right, like earlier, if you look at the industry veterans, they did not have the mentorship that you guys would have today, right? So it's probably the right time to be part of the ecosystem that is evolving. Of course, there will be challenges, but that is why, you know, we are here. Like as in KRAFTON is doing an incubation fund, then Sony is doing their initiatives, Nazara is doing a publishing fund. So all of these companies are coming together to boost the ecosystem as a whole.
And Ajish, you being a veteran in the industry, how are you seeing this, industry?
See, from a developer perspective, we are not focusing purely on India. We are actually targeting the entire market. But at the same time, as a developer who has seen this, what do you call it, exponential change in the market, I would suggest everybody to embrace AI. Because AI is like a flying dinosaur. And if you are not going to tame this dinosaur, it is actually going to kill you. So that's the pace at which everything is changing. Why I'm saying, because last time we got best quality art award in Game Connection America. At the time, for a single matte painting, our artist, it took close to 2 weeks. But right now, with the Midjourney, we could create even better graphics within 10 seconds. Even we could iterate, we could scale it, we could pan it, we could change the dimensions. There's 100 parameters which will take. AI is actually performing at 100x pace. So only if you are artist, as an artist, if you are going to embrace AI, then only you will survive. Else, you are finished. Yeah, that's it.
Embrace it, or you're finished. That's a word from our local boy here. So Nidhi, you're part of this incubator. That's a very nice initiative that KRAFTON started. Now, if you have to answer this in like 1 minute, what are the challenges that the game developers, or you see that in game studios, and how an incubator like yours will support them and help them in?
So I think a lot of things that I found out today, as well as when I was looking at applications for the incubator, we see that they lack resources. They lack. So there's this passion to make games, but how to make games is that we don't have in our education systems as game development. Like, I was fortunate enough to do my master's in game design. Like, there's an education background over there, right? So I understand core loops, core mechanics, how to market, how to publish a little more deeply because of that education that I was fortunate enough to have. But as India as a whole, there's those things are now up and coming. Like, NID is doing a program. There are other smaller programs that are running. So Krafton as an incubator want to focus as a whole on game development mentorship. We are not only looking at how to develop good games, but how to create symbiotic startups. Right, it's very, very important not only to get the game out in the market, great game out in the market, but also know how to run a business, how to make money at the end of the day from the game that you're passionate about, that you're building. So the incubator covers like a lot of areas of those gaming aspects and provides. One of the other challenges is probably the tools. Tools are expensive, like subscriptions are expensive, and once the free trials they run out, it's hard to sustain them. So one of the things that we are trying to do as an incubator is to give some of those tools access at least for a certain period of time, so that there's no financial load on the startups to sustain after the incubation has ended. So these are a few things that we are doing, and these are the few areas that we are focusing on as Krafton's incubator program.
And at the same time, they bring in the network, network
And
around.
some fund to
Absolutely.
run.
And when you talked about fun, I should ask this to Saikat and, Kshitij. The interesting thing about putting money into a startup is to evaluate, hey, what are my risks, right? And it's very difficult to decide whether to put in the money. So how do you assess that? And as a fund who wants to put in money, especially, you guys do at various stages, 0 to 1, 1 to 10, and 10 to 100 is the parameter that you guys talked about last time. So how do you assess those risks? And what are the criteria that you say, this is the company that I want to put in money?
So, see, I think the business we are in, it's not about risk mitigation, it's about embracing the risk. Like, that's why we're investing in early stages. So everything comes with risk. So it's not about avoiding the risk. If there was avoiding risk, I would be doing like public market investing or private equity or something like that. So that we go into it eyes open. And the risk is usually unknown. Like, it's, even if you invest in the best founder who has built the best team and who has the best person who knows marketing and knows user acquisition and they have the best data orientation, everything, it will still go wrong because there might be many people who just are lucky or in the right place in the right time or also have an equally good team, right? So I don't think you can really solve for a lot of that. I think what we really look for is the inputs at early stages. So as we discussed the last time, like for us, like we typically come in early at seed or series A, which could even mean that you don't even have a product ready. It could just be a paper plan or a concept stage. Series A, there's probably proof points of some game working, but both those stages we're comfortable investing in. But it's more comes down to the inputs at those stages, right? So one, what is the quality of the team? How do they think about the creative angle of building a game, and also are they oriented towards the data science part of it and the strategic thinking part of it on how to scale that game, right? So we look for teams with a combination of both. Any differentiated insights into their market, which usually comes from a lot of trial and error of running different things. So aspects like that is what we look for when we evaluate a team. I think over time, to Nidhi's point, I think we also help with a lot of functional teams in the fund who are for portfolio support. So on across hiring, so any management or key leadership that they want to hire, we have talent associates helping them give leverage to build a pipeline, interview people, and find the right talent to hire. We also have a lot of credit partnerships with Meta, AWS, many people where you can get a lot of access to resources for free and much longer time period. So you can not spend on those things, but spend on other things which are more priority, like people. Then there are people in our team who mentor our startups on tech and marketing and many others, right? So our objective is to keep adding more and more functional experts in finance, legal, everything. So those are some ways where we try to mitigate that and help or not mitigate the risk, but I would rather say that we position founders for success. That's how we approach it.
Certainly. So Shah Rukh Khan and Fahad will not guarantee you a hit. You need a complete team to do it. So
Definitely.
yeah. Saikat, do you have any comment on?
I mean, I would love to take a step back and have a very general framework which potentially could help you when you are trying to raise funds and trying to seek out investments. Everything that we do in the world has risk. It is so, and every investor that you approach to has a very different risk profile that they would essentially want to participate in. They feel that they are confident that I will be able to handle these kind of risks because I have these investments and I have these resources which I can very easily deploy and help you. So it's a two-way street. It's very difficult for you probably to believe, but more than an investor needing, more than a developer needing an investment, an investor also needs a good developer. So it's a two-way street wherein you have to believe this to be a mutual relationship and be very frank and open about what is the kind of profile that you are having at various stages. So at every stage you would have a very different risk. So at initial stage it's a concept risk, product market fit risk. Then there is scalability risk. Then there is how do you increase your overall target markets and grow the IP risk. What investor typically looks at and how have their investments panned out? When did they enter? If you do these research, you would potentially land up with a good sort of a partner for yourself. I think I agree to most of it what Kshitij said, but that's something which is first principles.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you did mention it's a two-way street, but I mean, there is a notion. I mean, this goes to Ajish. There is a notion that hey, if you have a VC on your cap table, then your freedom is gone. How real is that? I mean, if you have any opinion on that, do we get?
As such, we have mainly angels in the cap table and a few VCs. But down the line, when we are actually looking for making the company big, we need to go after VCs. VCs are actually looking for scalable, process-driven companies. So we need to change our company, understand what exactly is the processes, and we need to take advantage from AI. That's something I wish to add here specifically.
Actually, I'd like to add something to that point because the best companies in my portfolio are where I work on the least. So wherever my intervention is most required is where it's already going down. So I would say that the best companies are where founders are fully independent and they get it. They get everything. So that's when it just keeps flying. So you don't need to do much actually in those cases. And it's like a marriage actually, right? Like it's a decade-long relationship in many cases. So both parties need to find the right fit for each other, depending on what framework Saikat was saying. Like it's on like we like certain kind of companies, we are okay taking early stage risk, and you should also come in with eyes open. Like many times we see founders just choosing term sheets just because there's some valuation higher or they move faster, but may not be a right fit because 2 weeks down the line you might not want to really have that person on your cap table, right? So I think that's how you should approach it.
The follow-on question on that point would be how important it is so there is a founding team and there is a vision. So what is more important there? How important is the founding team, their mix and then obviously what they are trying to build. Yeah, you can, and Saikat and obviously Nidhi.
I think founding team and vision go hand in hand. It's very important for the founding team to have a vision, and the vision comes in with a narrative as well. Like with your vision, you need to be able to communicate that vision to people around you so that you're excited. I think in the previous panel, a lot of builders were saying that, when I talk about I'm a game developer, people frown at me, right? But that can change only by the founder's vision and the communication and the narrative and the storytelling, right? Like you can hire people by communicating a good story, get them excited to come. You can get investors by doing the same. So I think it goes hand in hand, like both are important.
And your case, Saikat, when you're evaluating a team, how do you look at it? And I know that you're looking at both publishing and as well as early stage sometimes, or maybe later stage too. How do you see that?
So I think vision as well as the execution team, which is the founding team, both are extremely important. Vision primarily because you would have 20, 30 different things to do every single moment. You potentially that you could do. So based on our talk earlier, you could potentially focus on VR, UGC, mobile. Each and every one of these platforms are equally lucrative as a developer. So having that vision, having that narrative stuck to you would always force you to fall on the first principles thinking, and you would always reorient yourselves towards what you are trying and setting to achieve. So that's an extremely important thing. The founding team primarily because without execution, ideas don't have any merit in and of themselves. So both needs to be in the right balance. You can sway, but then you can always come back. If you don't have the necessary skill set, you can always hire, you can take help of investors and things like that. But essentially the core needs to be very solid.
I think I agree with both of these points. I think one of the more important things along with these two is the communication between the founders themselves, right? I think what happens is that there's vision, there's alignment to vision, then there is good talented team in place, but there are conflicts. I think it's very important that as a founding team, you should know how to resolve those conflicts. It is important that in hard times, how do you move forward? Sure. And that becomes very important, not only for the startup success, but for any investor who is also, investing in that team, whether it's a seed investor, angel investor, anybody. Like building confidence with your investor will come from how you solve problems.
So if I may ask this question to folks here, hypothetically, if you are building the company, I lost it. So hypothetically, if you guys are starting a company, how many of you would like to have a co-founder? Everyone starts a company. Let's imagine that everyone is starting a company. And how many of you would like to have a co-founder? Great. That's good. I mean, co-founder is very important, or else you guys don't invest. That's what I can understand. But Ajish, one of the problems that I see when I come across studios who are trying to raise money, they don't know how much to raise. And that's a very critical aspect of it, right? You're talking to the investors, but they really don't know how much should I raise. Hey, is 1 million sufficient for me? Or 100K is sufficient for me? And there are people who say that, what, I need 2 years runway, then I'll be happy and then they'll do it, right? So is there a strategy for that? And I would like everyone to comment quickly on that.
See, from a developer perspective, I think we need to categorize our short-term goals and long-term goals. See, short-term goals is like, you need to cut into, suppose right now we are in a state in which we need to submit before Sony. So we need to submit to create a demo before Sony. That's a very short-term goal. But the long-term goal may be to capture the market. So when you are talking with the VCs, you need to create a plan for a long-term vision. But when we are discussing with a small-scale angels, maybe even a plan for a small-scale milestones also it is critical. And I wish to add one more point for the prior discussion. I am not an investor, but see, I'm just wish to share one of my experiences. Prior when Kerala Startup Mission actually invited me as a panel judge for evaluating the demos in in one of the gaming startup events. So we were submitted 5 demos. Five companies were applying for this thing. Of which I actually handpicked. I was actually checking this. 4 of them had very good quality demos. So they have actually asked me to write in a scale of 25. So they are given specific parameters, some 5 parameters. We actually rated it close to 20, 23. But one of these, another studio, they actually came forward. They just had a single deck with just 2 to 3 slides. It was very simple. They said that they are actually going to do a merge game, coupling together 2 genres. So I said that I gave them a rating of 4 or 5. I said that from my understanding as a person who is working in the industry, prototype is very critical. So I said that he need to come forward with a prototype. All others we can we can sanction them. But the interesting thing is that this company, which actually had just a 4-member team, they maybe had a in the team with just a single deck. They actually went on to make a product which actually cut into Google's top 50, made $10 million. So that's what I'm saying is regarding a company called Coco Games. I don't know if anybody is present. Yeah, you guys. So see these guys. This actually I'm just sharing you this incident just to inform you regarding the unpredictability and the risk factor. If I was an investor, I have $1 million packet with me. I would have split this into small 10 to 15K chunks, and actually we will invest on the passion quotient. Yeah, at the time I actually not choose the right decision, but just I used to share my insight regarding the unpredictability and risk factor.
Certainly. And when you say you're sharing this information with you, these guys or these guys?
Because see, I'm actually seeing a lack of we need to talk to the gallery, right? See, one thing is that we are actually missing an early stage fund. See, right now Kerala government is coming forward with the ABGC fund. There are some all India there is some supporting schemes, but even there is only innovation grant. But if startups are, if you guys are actually coming forward with what you call a fund which is focusing on early stage, very early stage, that you are going to make the maximum return of investment. You know to.
Great. That is
Actually, I think that comes down to the narrative and storytelling only, right? Like VCs are like babies. Like if you tell them good story, they'll all get convinced.
No, I am not saying that invest in heavy chunks, but maybe small chunks, 5K, and like the way Unreal, Epic Grant actually they are actually investing 10K, 15K. Then Sony also.
That's a very good point. Identify those teams who are investable. Maybe small ticket size. You don't have to do that like a 500K or a million and so on, but do it and that's where incubator comes into play too, right?
Yeah, I mean, the concept of incubation in itself is that you are very young and you need that support, right? And we are here to provide not only the financial support but also mentorship in terms of, like we were talking about, how you just asked, right? How do you know how much to ask? I think that is something that we are covering in the mentorship itself, right? This is something that whenever we are incubating teams, we are talking to them about it in detail in terms of why you would need this versus why you would not need this. Sure. And that is part of your mentorship journey from an incubation point of view. I think you can probably talk about from an investment point of view.
See, I think my framework on how much to raise is fairly simple. It's like the first seed round should be enough capital to have multiple shots at the goal. Gaming is very competitive. Even if you have a very differentiated idea, there are 100 studios out there who might copy it. So you need enough shots at the goal to get a good idea that really is hitting some form of early signs of PMF, which could be early signs of retention numbers, good engagement times, whatever you define it, right? So what we advise companies at seed is usually raise, like our math suggests around 50 to 100K takes to build a casual game, but nowadays with AI, etc., it's even going down. You can invest a lot lesser and build a good quality game, but enough capital to have 5-6 shots at the goal so that you're able to build something that sticks. Then the next round you should raise is to show the proof point from the first thing that you have, saying that you have initial signs of PMF, and raise a larger round to invest in user acquisition and grow what's working. So that's how I would think about it.
Saikat, do you have any comment on that?
I mean, from a investment standpoint, once a company invests in you, they become your partner. Whatever and however you need them, you please feel free to go out to them, raise your pain points, get it resolved, take support. I'm sure a lot of the investors, including us, we help them with hiring, we help them with technology, we help them with access to partnership opportunities, bunch of different things, and a world of possibilities basically gets opened up with any investor coming onto the cap table, depending on their own strengths and weaknesses. From an investment standpoint, one thing that we missed probably was angel investments. On the angel side, the interesting thing to note is you can make anybody an angel. He doesn't need to be an active angel investor to be an angel investor in your company. So you could reach out to your friends, family, anybody that knows you, trusts you, has seen you grow, understands you that you are not a whatever you do it with a passion, with a certain rigor, and he or she or they may trust you with their money. I think that is a very fundamental and important point that you should keep in mind. Plus, the second point on the next set of rounds, there's no golden sort of bullet or a one-shot solution to every fundraising problems. It is completely up to you. You have to decide what is good for you and what are you trying to solve for with any investment round. So, for example, Royal Match, Dream Games, raised $155 million as a seed round. So it completely depends on where you are and what you are comfortable doing and what you're trying to achieve. For them, the seed round was all about initial scaling. So they penetrated the market significantly after building the prototype. So it depends on how much risk you can take, to what extent you can take, how much risk do you want to sort of take help from others in addition to money, etc. So all of those are something that you need to determine for your studio and your own company and make it big. So yeah.
Sure. So we have been asked to trim down our session. So we are in the last question, but before that, if anyone wants to ask a question, please raise their hand and someone will get the mic while I ask the last question. Anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. Final comments, Ajish. I think this is the best time to start a company. And what do you think?
I would like to say, yeah, because right now we are in a junction point of our life in which, with the help of technology, even a person who is indie person also could run a company. We could take advantage of technology. I do believe that down the line, the GPUs will be replaced with APUs in your machine. So right now is the right time. But see, you need to embrace. That's something I wish to suggest to all of the developers here. If you are not embracing AI, your life is going to be miserable.
I think I already spoke about it, saying that since India is now under the global eye, right, and we have a lot of gaming-related VC funds coming up in India, government is taking initiatives. I think this is the right time to probably get into the flow of things and take the first mover's advantage.
I think to a lot of earlier points are made, I think what we see many founders, not just in gaming, lack is the inability to really communicate what they're building. So I would say really focus on good quality narrative building, good quality storytelling about what it is you're building, where are you seeing the excitement, build the ability to convince people around you. That's how you can unlock good quality talent to come and join you, good quality investors to come and join you.
I think it's a great time to build. A lot of interesting opportunities across platforms, UGC, mobile, PC, console. Development costs are going down. It doesn't take much money to build. So if you want to build something, this is probably the best time to get on with it.
Great. Any questions, guys? There's one up there. Do we have mic for the gentleman there?
Hi, I'm Suji. Yeah, thank you for all the great talk. And I just wanted to ask, we are building a company which is not really into game development, but to help other game development companies to build AI toolkits. So our companies like you who are looking for incubation or investment, are you also supporting such companies?
Currently, we are, since this is our first cohort, currently we are looking at specifically game developers for now. Eventually, when we do start to expand our cohorts, maybe you can keep an eye out in the future. We can connect and we can see where this goes. Currently, it's very focused on game development, but yeah.
Dev tooling. Yeah, dev tooling is interesting for you guys.
Reach out to one of those VCs. I think it would be a great funneling tool for them.
Yeah, meet Kshitij, he'll cut a check to you.
No, we do invest in a lot of B2B sort of tooling in gaming or otherwise. That's a space of interest we have been looking at. So happy to connect.
Cool. Thank you.
Any more questions, or else we'll be off the stage. And guys, we have VC's incubator and also a veteran from the industry. Please network. I use this word shamelessly, network. So please talk to them, take advice, they'll connect, and so on and so forth. And there is a segment called Investor Publisher Connect that happens in IGDC, where IGDC helps you connect with investors, or if you're looking for publishers and so on. We have Sucharita here from IGDC team. Please connect with her. She's around, and be part of the bigger event. And let's make the highest grossing game from India, possibly Kochi. You never know. So great, guys. Thank you so much for coming in today. 100%. Yes, we have already a success story.